Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I'm going to be providing a long-term market analysis update for Filecoin. We're going to talk about the FIL-Bitcoin ratio and Filecoin's performance with respect to Bitcoin coming down here to form new all-time lows and breaking below the support right around 18,000 Satoshis. We're going to talk about some key levels of support to watch out for on the FIL USD pair, most notably this range of all-time lows from back here in the previous cycle, back here in 2019 and 2018. So if you guys enjoy the content, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. Also, by the way, I will leave a link to my Twitter page in the description below. Feel free to go ahead and check that out as well. I am fairly active over there. So Filecoin over the last few weeks has come back down to retest this range of support I have marked out in green from $2.30 to $2.60. And this was the level of support. This was the base from back here in 2018 and 2019. So we had a retest of this level on multiple attempts in that last accumulation zone, where we just basically came back down to this level multiple times. Buyers in demand held this zone, and really this was our last line of defense, being the all-time low formed from that big 2018 bear market. So we actually had a very nice rounding off base pattern where we saw that accumulation and then we exited that accumulation, really just leading into that bull run that we had in 2020 and 2021. So given the historical significance of this level, right around $2.30 to $2.60, this is a very strong area of support for Filecoin, and it's a region where I would expect some sort of reaction, potentially a bounce of people trying to step in at the longer term support. Maybe that takes us back up to this trend line or some moving averages where we might find resistance. But ultimately, I don't think we're going to slice right through this level, considering this was 2 years worth of support back in the last bear market at the same levels of extreme in sentiment and at the same depths of the bear market. So if we do see some sort of reaction, some sort of bounce off of this zone, watch out to this trend line I have drawn. You can see that has been where all of the lower highs have formed off of. If I just zoom in here, you can see quite clearly that we've had a very consistent downtrend coming up to this level, rejecting, forming lower lows, and then continuing that bear market decline. So potentially, if we were to come back down to this level, bounce off of it, maybe we bounce right into that weekly trend line and see some sort of resistance to be had right there, and then eventually come back down. Or we could also come up to the weekly moving averages, the 20 SMA and the 21 EMA, which are going to be these two lines right here. So I'm going to remove all these drawings just to get a clear look at these moving averages, which have also been very strong resistance throughout this bear market. We lost them right here in September of 2021. And then ever since then, it has flipped right into resistance, very strong level of resistance. We've had multiple retests of the zone, each one forming the same pattern coming up to that level, rejecting, forming lower lows, and continuing that bear market decline. So that could be another area of interest to watch out for as resistance if we do see some sort of positive reaction off of retesting the all-time lows and the support from back in the previous market cycle. So watch out for those levels. Also going to be watching out for this level of horizontal resistance right around $4.80. Much higher up from where we are today, but if we do get a very strong reaction off this zone, which is certainly in the cards, it is certainly a possibility. You've seen pretty extreme bounces throughout this bear market, such as this one from June all the way up to August of a bounce of around 440%. It's not out of the question to get back up to that zone. It's just, if we do, watch out to this level as resistance. There's many upside levels where we can look for sellers to start to have more and more supply starting to enter, and that could be in confluence with these moving averages. Again, you can see if I extend them out, they have some sort of crossing point where you could see that resistance sort of stack up with the moving averages, the downward sloping trend line, and the horizontal levels. So I wouldn't really expect Filecoin to be bullish anytime soon until we can break out above all of these levels of resistance much further out, I believe. And when I zoom out here all the way, there really is a large risk and a large possibility of getting that big bounce that we have right back up into those levels of resistance, and then ultimately rolling over to make new all-time lows and then continue breaking down. And this is a big possibility because we've seen those rejections and the formation of lower lows following those rejections off these moving averages and off of these levels of resistance time and time again throughout this bear market. And if I just extend these out again, you can see that could be a very big threat to Filecoin on this weekly chart, where we might have that another lower high and then a breakdown following that. So that's really the longer term risk that's associated with Filecoin. And I don't want to have this risk overhanging on an investment. So if I do want to get bullish on Filecoin, it's really going to have to come after we break out above these levels of resistance, break out above the moving averages, and then ultimately start to end this bear market decline, forming higher highs and higher lows on a move something like this. So this is what I would watch out for if you do want to hold Filecoin. Otherwise, really big threat of continuing that downtrend and then forming new all-time lows from here. So with the FILBTC ratio, this has already started to come back down and form new all-time lows, breaking below the 18,000 Satoshi level of support. And you can see that we formed that new low by approximately another negative 20%. So this is the real risk, right? We have Filecoin losing support, losing its valuation with respect to Bitcoin, and it's had that after a very intense bear market decline with the peak back here in April of 2021. And we've really just seen this stair stepping down with breaking below support levels, coming back up, and then flipping it into resistance. So that's really been the name of the game. And if we do have a continuation of that, maybe we continue to come back down, eventually flip this level of resistance, and then continue forming that downtrend, new all-time lows. And this is the risk as well. So the only real reason I would get bullish on Filecoin with respect to Bitcoin on the long-term time frame is if we can have a very convincing reclaim of that previous all-time low from May at around 18,000 Satoshis on a move something like this, where we get that convincing reclaim, flip it back into support, and then start heading back up to break this very significant downtrend of performance with respect to Bitcoin. So I hope you guys did enjoy the content and the analysis. By the way, make sure to check out my Twitter page. I'll leave a link to that in the description below. As always, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one.